Hey guys, welcome back to the DLC podcast where we talk games, movies, all things in between. This is a surprise live stream, even though it's Thursday, so this technically used to be our schedule. So guess it's not too far out of the
Right.
ordinary. But yeah, but I'm Isaac. That's Jacob.
What's up, people?
And that's the vague prophet himself, GCJ, the Monster
What's
Slayer champion
the
of the
Monster
crew.
Slayer?
Ugh.
That's
And that's the title says, is Marvel in trouble? We're gonna answer that. We're gonna answer that. Is Marvel in trouble? Well,
Yes.
uh,
Yes. I'm going to go ahead and answer it.
he said
Yes.
yes, and just what's so good about this? Is I am your average comic guy. Jacob's more versed in the comic universe, and Juice is the common man that just enjoys what's in front of him. That's comic
I'm
related.
telling you.
I would say I'm I wouldn't say I'm an expert. I'm not an expert.
I just know
Not
you're
by
not
any
no,
means.
no, you're not an
No, I know,
expert.
I know, I know, I know, I know. But for the people watching, don't think I'm an expert. I'm just a common comic book nerd that really enjoys comics. I go through my phases where I read a bunch of comics, then I stop, and then I read a bunch more, and then I stop.
But
Um,
when he reads a lot, he reads them in bulk, so he does catch up.
Yes, yes. And if you follow me on TikTok, I'm starting to do comic reviews for the budget man. Anyone who's trying to get into the hobby at a low, because comic books can get expensive if you're trying to complete a whole storyline. And so I tend to find budget comics. I read them and I'll review them, whether if they're worth your time or money. So I
Okay,
post it on YouTube too. But we're here to talk about comics ish.
ish. So we're talking about James Gunn, and like I said from the very way before this even happened, like if DC makes James Gunn or Kevin Feige, Marvel's gonna be in trouble. They did that, and what did they do? James Gunn went on Twitter and legit laid out his entire 8 to 10 year plan. And I will say most of these things I don't know of, but if James Gunn is good at anything, he's making unknown people very popular.
Yeah. There were
So,
two things that I don't know if y'all have heard in our past podcast. We did an episode of we would like to see come to the DC universe. One of Isaac's picks was announced. One of my picks was announced. So I'm super excited.
all right, so let's go and dig right in. And Juice, feel free to come in whenever if you have any questions, by all means. But all right, so here's where we're going with. So he announced film and TV projects. Okay,
Yes.
now this isn't nothing new. There's always been TV and movie adaptations for heroes, and considering what they've been as of late, they could be done a lot better. And for Marvel, my say, we like Marvel and DC equally. I would feel like
Yes. Yeah.
so. There's no
I'm
hate
not.
between them.
I hate on both, but I also love both.
Yeah. So that being said, I always wanted Marvel to have competition, and you could tell when the lack of competition was there because their quality went down. I don't care what anyone says. The Marvel quality with their TV shows and some of the movies were not up to par.
Their quality went down, and the toxic DC fanboys' anger went up, and their delusion went up. Let's face it, guys. DC was not good. It hasn't been good in a while. I know y'all want to say Zack Snyder. It was amazing. It was
Okay,
not.
okay. There's like maybe 20% of people saying that.
Oh, but their voice is loud. Their voice is super
No,
loud.
to be fair, when comparing the original Dawn of Justice to the Zack Snyder cut was better. I'm
But it
just
still wasn't
saying.
good. But
It's no, it still wasn't good. My thing is compared to it though. Like
oh
I
yeah,
do,
oh yeah, oh
I
yeah.
do agree. Anyone who comes out and said that was phenomenal, it's like I mean that was like 5 hours. Like phenomenal ain't 5 hours, guys. Like, but
That's,
to say that it was better than the original, yes. Like,
I mean,
is what it is.
they're hurting that much that something like that is phenomenal too, though.
Yeah.
That's the state of DC right now.
Or was. So here's the deal,
Well,
right?
we don't. At least we're hoping.
We're
Nothing's
hoping.
came out yet.
Yeah, we're hoping. So first thing he announced, and I guess this is the perfect way to start off your DC integration is with Superman. So Superman called Superman Legacy. Now, the thing about Superman movies, they've never been good outside of the classics. Superman was always hard. It was always a hard movie to actually enjoy. I mean, cause like,
Recapture.
yeah, recapture. You know, like, um, Man of Steel. People would die saying it's one of the best superhero movies. No, it wasn't.
That was
Henry
my last.
Cavill was perfectly casted though.
Yes, yes. But Man of Steel was terrible. That was my only and last Zack Snyder movie I saw because it was that terrible.
Yeah, and basically, he's already. If I believe he's going for a younger Superman, right?
Yeah.
So one that hasn't found a balance between being a human and a hero or a Kryptonian. So that'll be interesting to see and how
Yeah.
he. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it'll line up to where Batman's at. If they're keeping the Batman movie, it'll line up to that. But we don't know if they are. He
So
mentioned something
yeah,
else.
yeah. So we'll move on from there. We'll move on from there. Now this one I've never even heard of, and this is where the whole James Gunn literally digs at the bottom of the barrel, and whatever he finds, he turns to gold. And it's called the Authority. Do you know anything about the Authority?
I want to say I know a little bit. That's the one with Frankenstein in it, right?
Like I said,
No.
I don't know nothing
I
about
want
it.
to say it. Like I don't know too
Well,
much of the authority, but Frankenstein is part of it. I know some of his stuff because he gets integrated uh into like this other team. I'm
well,
trying to remember the
Superman's a part of it, so I guess that lines up perfectly with him making a young Superman.
yeah.
All right. Now this one surprised me, and I think Juicy watched this show. He's bringing the Brave and the Bold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's a great Batman series, though,
but
guys. Come on.
but
Okay, okay,
there's
okay.
a catch. It ain't the one we're thinking of. It ain't the one I grew up with, or the cartoon version. Jacob, take it away, because this is one that you called for.
Oh, okay. So this is his spin on Batman, and I love, I love the angle he's going towards. And like I said, we brought up the young Batman, and my thing is, I'm
Superman.
hoping they still work with that. Well, no, I mean like the young Superman, but with the young Batman,
Oh yeah, yeah,
that and how that aligns. But if he's going this route, then it kind of changes thing because he said that he was a big fan of Damian Wayne being Robin. And for all my comic book nerds out there, we know that the Batman and Robin series with Damian Wayne in it was written by the one, the only Grant Morrison. This guy, this beautiful thing right here. Love this series. I'm gonna do a review on it, but short, like keeping it short, great series to read. And this is what I'm hoping he's going for because this is the Batman and Robin with Damian in it, and it's dark. It is dark, but it is well done.
How's
Like
it gonna
it's
be
not
bold but also dark?
do
Like,
what?
how's it gonna be the
exactly.
brave and bold but also dark? Some
I
dark,
mean, my
like,
thing is you're gonna have to be bold and you're gonna have to be brave because the stuff you're gonna
Yeah.
have to fight, like I said, it's dark. But the thing I love about it is dark, but that's not the premise of it. Like some comics where like, oh, it's just a shock value, but there's no good story. No, this has good storytelling, and I'm hoping that it's done right. That's what I'm saying. Is Marvel in trouble? We don't know yet, but I mean, the way things are looking from what James Gunn's done in the past, it sure feels like it. The fact that he's going with this right here is already telling me that he's actually looking into what fans want. He's looking into the best selling comics, and he's not just going to throw something together and ruin something, you
Right.
know?
Right. So, uh, to move on from that, he announced Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which I'm excited about. Right, so I know there's a Supergirl TV series. I never watched it. I never cared to watch it. It didn't look it didn't look interesting to me at all.
I tried. I tried
But
so hard.
and he got so far, but in the end,
It didn't matter.
it didn't matter. But this one, so the storyline of this one basically is where Supergirl is raised on a piece of Krypton, and she saw everyone basically perish in front of her. So I'm gonna.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be a pretty dark of movie. Apparently, it's based on Tom King series. I think I'm not too versed in that, but
I'm wondering, like, 'cause I don't know for sure, but I'm wondering if this is going the route of where she, like, becomes part of Apocalypse for a little bit, and she becomes like dark
I mean maybe
Supergirl.
because she may get saved from like Apocalypse may save her off that planet. I don't know. 'Cause
Then
I mean, I'm sure people that read the comics would know about it. But the thing about this,
yeah,
you get they're based off these comics, but I'm sure it doesn't have the James Gunn spin to it, right? It ain't gonna be
yeah,
panel for panel. But this one, I think, what I'll be interested in is the Swamp Thing movie
yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be great.
because the series was great and it got canned. So we'll see how that goes. But
I don't think I've ever seen the
you
series.
gotta watch it. It's really good. And apparently, from what it says here, they're gonna investigate the dark origins of Swamp Thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, Swamp Thing is pretty much like the center of everything. Like
Mm.
It's practically a
he,
god.
yeah. I mean, he is like he's so strong and like hardly ever touched in like movies and stuff. Like there's a lot that can happen with this
Yeah,
guy.
and what I like about it is the fact that Man Thing was introduced in Marvel through
Yeah.
Wolf by Night. So that
Well,
was
the
pretty cool.
it's funny because the person who created Swamp Thing and the person that created Main Thing were roommates.
Yeah, and they made them
And
act
they
practically at the same time.
yeah, yeah, and one went to work for DC and one went to work for Marvel.
And you can see the similarities, like they
Oh
all,
yeah, for sure.
but ain't nothing wrong with it. But so, Juice, I want. So this is a little tidbit that I thought was interesting. I wanted to see what your opinion on it on this one is. Okay, so James Gunn is all about continuality. He wants everything to line up or make sense, whether it's an animated show, a movie, or a video game. So his plan is, for instance, John Cena is Peacemaker.
Yeah,
If they were to make a cartoon, he's voicing him.
that's fair. I agree
If
with that.
And I say that because they have a TV series called Waller, and Viola Davis is gonna voice her,
That's so dope.
right?
I
And
I love Amanda Waller. She has to be the most amazing anti-hero, you
oh
know?
Yeah,
yes,
And it's
cutthroat
not really
man.
an antagonist, but she has I think that they cast her perfectly in the movies, you know?
yeah.
Because she is just stone cold, and I can't wait. Like,
Well, you may
it's
be
gonna be
happy
good.
because they have a show called Waller and another show called Creature Commandos, a 7-episode animated show in which Amanda Waller creates a Black Ops team out of monstrous prisoners. So that's like
I'm gonna look yeah, I'm gonna look
that's
forward to that.
I read a comic with them and they involved the Swamp Thing in it. So
mhm.
that's interesting.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. And then the next thing that was mentioned, which Juicy was hyped for, is lanterns.
Yup.
Yes. And
Megan
we
brought
had
that up before,
Which
and I was like, "No freaking way."
and not only are you getting Hal Jordan back, we're finally getting John Stewart.
yes.
There's the spotlight.
And
Me and Jeremiah were talking about lanterns today, and I know John Stewart isn't the strongest one, but man, he is my favorite one.
he's one that we grew up with.
He is, but the reason he's my favorite is because what he did in Blackest Night.
Mhm.
The man freaking handles business.
Hey,
He
ex
ain't no
Marine.
coward. Yeah, yeah. Freaking I mean, it's an old comic, so I mean, it doesn't matter if I ruin it, right?
No, okay.
Like this man
Oh, no,
freaking this.
it's a hype comic though. For people should go
It
read it.
is, yeah. I mean, just go read it. Blackest Night is one of the best comics I feel ever written,
So
and
my first experience with him, I don't know if yours was, and I don't know if he originated with Justice League, the animated show.
Mhm.
I would assume not, But my thing is the episode where they accused him of blowing up a planet when he was doing that, and he just went to take to just it showcases how Stone Cold, like, yeah, I did it. And so I'm gonna, like, I see what I did. I'm here to take responsibility. I think that was one of the biggest things about his character.
yes,
Accountability is the biggest thing about him. I've watched countless things where Hal Jordan makes excuses. Well, I had to do this, and he's tugged emotionally. Um, and then I see John Stewart, and it's just like, doesn't need to happen. It's happening then.
his
Stop.
things are like, I'm not meant to be low. I'm meant to take care of business.
It's beautiful.
Well,
Mm. I love the Lanterns Corps personally, the entirety of the Lanterns Corps. So that would be one of the things I know a little bit more about than most. Not like most people, but like than most of comics. Like if you pick a series, that's what and Deadpool, but that's just different. I love Deadpool. But but the Lanterns Corps, like the different lanterns, and he is definitely still one of my favorite characters as well.
mhm.
Not in my favorite core, but once was. I mean, he is definitely really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
So it's a true detective style show, so that would be interesting. And this one kind of caught my eye a little bit. So it's based in Themyscira. It's called Paradise Lost, and it's about. Apparently it's a Game of Thrones style show, which okay, but it basically focuses on the genesis of political intrigue of an island of all women. So it's gonna be a drama, right? But the thing is, if anybody knows about those Amazons, they are pretty tough
yeah.
and pretty brutal. So, and the fact that it's a Game of
Honestly,
Thrones style, I think that'd be kind of tight.
I'm happy for that because you give more backstory to Wonder Woman and what
Mm.
all goes on there.
Yeah, that's yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's not some paradise of women, as is pretty much assumed. I mean, they are strong women, but a paradise. Like they're all beautiful
Yeah.
Greek women, and that's something that's constantly not pushed, but it's definitely left out there like that.
Mm.
We've
I
seen
mean, like,
everyone's origin like 50 million times, and hers
yeah.
is like from an island, and we're stronger than men. It's like cool,
But I mean,
hot.
I like that they're going this route because I mean, even in the comics one, they get very political about how things are ran there,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and so this would be an interesting
yeah. I mean, if it's a Game
show.
I'm
of
That
down.
Thrones, if it's the Game of Thrones style, that means there'll be probably one group wanting to do it one way and another group wanting to do another way, and there'll be some
yeah,
mischievous acts in between. But yeah, so the rest of the year, we have Shazam, The Flash, Blue Beetle, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdoms coming out, and he even flat out said, "Yeah, we have Flashpoint coming. It's a great movie. It's basically gonna reset everything." And he's saying Shazam, though was part of the DCEU, is still okay to join the DCU because he changed it to the DCU now. It's not DCEU, it's DCU, and saying that he,
respect
Man,
it. Don't be tainted with the past.
yeah.
well,
Don't be
even
tainted
more
with
than
the past.
this say some type of this is different. He's wanting continuity. Does that mean he wants continuity from the comic books to the big screen as
Potentially,
well?
potentially. Well, I think
If
he
that
wants. I think he wants the big screen to inspire comics.
Yeah.
that'd be good.
Which I mean, that's what Marvel did. Like
Yeah,
a lot of those movies weren't really what happened in the comics, but they adapted comics to the movies.
Mhm.
and so anyway, Shazam is safe because he's like, even though he was part of DCEU, he was never really inserted like as if he was part of the Justice League or anything. So he was still out there, out of the way. So he's like, they're safe, and a couple other heroes are safe because he said like, it's Flashpoint. We're gonna reset everything, and we'll basically see who sticks around, right? But what I like about this, and this is what killed Marvel for me, okay? And I still love Marvel, and I still watch the shows and movies, but what killed me is I don't mind you taking a comic story, making it your own, changing it up, but there's some points where I'm just like, I feel like you omitted a little too much here, just to get it, just to make it more child friendly or whatever. What I like about James Gunn is like, oh, this guy gets decapitated. That sounds pretty cool, actually. Yeah, put that in.
Show movie.
You get juice?
Mm-hmm.
I heard myself echoing, but basically, he's not gonna be scared to get his hands dirty. He's not worried about if it will scare off people or nothing like that. And then he even fought for creative freedoms because he's like, bro, if people trying to, when there's too many hands in the pot, it's gonna be a mess. And he's proven
Yeah.
twice his way is just fine, even though it's gory and bloody with Suicide Squad and Peacekeeper. So with that, or Peacemaker, sorry, Peacemaker. So with
Mm.
that, I'm like, okay, so I'm not saying everything has to be dark and gory, but it does fit the argument that DC and Marvel fans have of saying, well, DC's more for adults and Marvel's more for children. DC's more dark, Marvel's more lighthearted. Whereas James Gunn's like, I can make someone be laughy, joking, this and that, and then 2 seconds later they get their head blown off. Like I could do both of it, and I'm like, that's perfect
Mm-hmm.
because I could,
It's a good model. It's a
huh?
good model. Like it's a good model. That's a good way to do it. One of the biggest things that hurt DC back in the day was when they made their statement, no comedy whatsoever. Marvel's doing it this way. Well, they're making slapstick of their heroes. We're going to do no comedy. It's all it's action, drama, blah blah blah. And I feel that really hurt them because the most you would get for comedy in their movies was dry humor at best.
Hmm.
Maybe a pun or two, maybe Batman just acting rich, it's like, eh, you know? And so I personally think they did the newest Suicide Squad really good, Um and Peacemakers, they're
Well, you know what's good
I don't
about
know
uh,
I don't know how to describe that show, to be honest.
it's lightning in
It's
a
almost like
bottle.
it's yeah, it's so something I really appreciate, and we've discussed this before because we've been playing through Hi-Fi Rush. One thing that I brought up about one of the enemies was the fact that this feels like a natural response slash talk from a person. Like hearing a bunch of the reactions of John Cena in certain scenes, I was like, yeah, I could see that conversation, playing out exactly like that. It's like
I mean, yeah, and they're
it.
back and his backhanded jokes too.
Mhm, and so it's like, I like it, it doesn't seem too over the top, it seems like a funny, natural thing, you know? It is over the top, but it's not, like, overacting, if that
Mm,
makes sense?
yeah, and what I like about it, it doesn't have so to go on to away from Marvel and DC. I started watching The Boys, right,
A
and I watched Invincible, and what those two have in common is they are great storytelling and the characters are great, but you could tell they're going for that shock factor, right? Where literally you see a girl get obliterated because a train is just running down the street. Like
Mhm,
it makes no sense, but it's there, and I get it. Cause like, oh wow, like what the? But it gets after a while, it gets kind of like okay,
Yeah.
like we get it. You're not scared to show gore, but at some point, you know, can we go past that a little bit? Like I don't mind it, but now I just feel like it's forced. Whereas I feel like with James Gunn, he has that, but he has it with perfect timing. Like he
That's what
does,
I'm saying. Like that's one of the reasons I like this Batman and Robin thing because it has that darkness, it has that gore, that shock value. But it also has a beautiful story that lines up with it. It's not just there just to be there for people to be like, oh crap, you know?
yeah.
yeah,
And I feel like that's gonna work well with James Gunn and how
Oh
he's
yeah.
gonna portray it.
And what's funny is I saw a little article where basically Kevin Feige says, I don't believe people are getting tired of superhero movies. And honestly, if DC comes out swinging, he'll be right.
Yeah.
Because now Marvel isn't the only source of superhero movies.
I think people are getting tired of Marvel superhero thing.
Yeah,
I got tired of it, man. I am so behind on a lot of things because it's not bad. Their stuff isn't bad. It starts to feel the same after a while. If that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. No,
We just had a conversation recently, myself and Ice, about doing what's comfortable because it's working, you know? And that is definitely where they are right now in that franchise, where it's like more than 50% jokes, a lot of jokes. So the worst part is it feels like I'm watching Spider-Man in every freaking movie. I expect the jokes
Yeah.
and the quips and stuff like that,
I,
and every superhero is popping jokes like they're Peter Parker in Brooklyn. It's like, "Okay,
that,
shouldn't be,
that's
but
funny.
okay."
That's funny you say that because we've always say every DCEU movie try to be Batman.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And that's the problem. That was the problem with this. That's like a very serious Superman when it's supposed to be hope, and there's all I feel like they could have done Man of Steel better by actually making it like he obviously should show some signs of losing, right? But ultimately should be showcasing he's actually kind of untouchable, you know?
Yeah.
And like he is that symbol of hope. I miss that. I miss that because that's what Superman is. He's the Boy Scout, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
In this iteration of it, he did not seem like the Boy Scout. This man was ready to hurt a lot of people, you know? And I'm just saying. And then like Batman flip side of it, sure, in Batman v Superman, he seemed jilted and ready to attack people. But Dawn of Justice, he literally was comic relief. No offense
Yeah.
to him.
No,
What
he
did he
literally.
actually
No.
do?
Yeah.
He just made jokes. He just made jokes. It I think, and I told you that Ben Affleck played a great Bruce Wayne, not a good Batman, you know? But a great Bruce Wayne. It would have been hilarious, you know?
I feel,
But
I would die on the hill
yeah,
saying his Batman was phenomenal if he just had a better script.
yeah, yeah.
The same way I would say he was a good Daredevil if he just had a better script.
Can we take a second to appreciate that? Like that had to be in Batman v Superman, at least the most realistic I would think a Batman would be in terms of trying to hide his identity, having a voice changer and stuff like that. It's like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, like no one's that stupid anymore. You know, like that makes more sense. You know, but
It
Hey,
just reminds me of the freaking what was it, college kids skits from years ago where it's like Batman and
College Humor,
Gord yeah, college humor. Batman and Gordon
throat cancer.
on the freaking rooftop and Superman comes and Gordon is all like, "Yeah, I mean, we know you're Clark Kent. You know, it's pretty obvious." He's like, "But how?" And he puts his glasses on, and Batman's like, "Holy crap, where'd Superman go?" And he takes off the glasses. Oh, thank God, Superman, you're here.
oh my gosh. But no, so I will speak on that. When it comes to the movies and stuff, they're fantastic. My brother loves them. I follow them with him. I do wish we would have gotten a Green Lantern movie, even if it would have been terrible, just because we really need to retcon
we,
that,
we,
you
we,
know.
I, I
But
feel like. Oh, go ahead. We're going to finish your thought.
no, but I definitely like what I'm hearing for what's coming out. It seems like he's making some statements, some definitive statements. We're doing this.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, yes, daddy. You know, like lead the way. Like I
Yeah.
like to hear that. I like to see that. I am very interested to see where it goes.
Yeah. No, I'm. What? So there's things that me and Jacob used to have. Me and Jacob will be in a car driving. I'll bring up something and we'll just start talking about it. And one of the things I remember us
Yeah,
talking about was there are certain heroes or characters or things that we would love to see in motion picture, but will they make a good film or a better TV series? And for me, how big the Lantern Corps is, I feel like that's better suited for TV than movie, because movie would be great, but I don't want them to jam pack all this information or cut out a lot of information to fit within this time span. Whereas with TV, they could take their time with it, let it let it roll out properly, and then for the big finale, then maybe make a movie when the whole story is already out there, and then you do the movie for the big payoff. So I think
Not even the finale. So my first thought is do this, right? Start slowly introducing other lanterns. Start showing the issues between the all the cores and go into the War of the Rings, Lantern Core Wars, where everyone's at odds. And then you make a featured film of that. Like it pretty much kicks off that boom. And then 2 years later, like you put it in production, 2 years later, we come back on it, Lantern Wars. Make it happen. Make it great, I don't know. I like the lanterns, so that's a bias. I will say, but
oh, they're great. I mean, well, okay. Well, I'll have one mission for James Gunn. Right, this is one thing. If he could do this, he's the goat. Because he says he, like I said, comics, movies, video games, TV. He's gonna help like look over that, make sure everything's in continuity. If he could come out and make, or not make, but help develop or pitch the idea of a story for a Superman game, and it be good, that dude's the goat.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever been a
yeah.
good Superman game.
It's hard to make it when the guy's basically a god.
Yeah,
I mean, the best we got is him flying through rings.
And see, and I don't see how they couldn't do that.
Yeah.
especially
So
nowadays.
what is the kryptonite that gives him amnesia? Is it yellow?
That gives them what?
Amnesia. Like he doesn't remember.
I don't know.
I think it's yellow.
Yellow, if I remember from the comics, Yellow pretty much was, if I remember correctly, Yellow pretty much took away his power if he was around it too long. Not like Green, but to the point where he actually would lose
Okay,
his
so
power.
gold kryptonite makes him lose his power permanently.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of Gold then, which I would assume they'll
Let me
be the
check. Let me
same.
check. I'm kind of interested in that. So, synthetic kryptonite, blah, blah, blah.
But that so
Darker
so
evil
that's
version. Go ahead.
Red
so
red makes them evil.
Hmm.
yeah. And so this is a mix of red and gold from let's say Superman 178. But I know because I used to be big in at least learning things outside of the Justice League, and so the different kryptonites, really piqued my interest at one point. But yeah, so I mean, you can make a game about it. Just make it that way. So red and gold synthesized kryptonite gets hit by him, and now it's coursing through his veins. He's completely lost his powers, right? And but then in the first mission, when he's trying to do things, he's still trying to stand up as Superman. 'Cause he's still got that feeling to do it. He at least gets his memory back of who he is, and he gets the ability to have super strength. Maybe not super strength, but strength stronger than most. And then from there, you're just trying to work on how do I get this out of my body quicker? What do I need to do?
He needs. He needs. He needs. It needs to be about him chilling with silver kryptonite. Superman does
Silver?
not lose his power, nor is he harmed by it. Instead, Kryptonians are affected by it affected by it, similar to cannabis, where it removes inhibitions, cause food cravings, and can provide hallucinations.
There we go. There we
Or
go.
no, so here like Black Kryptonite splits Clark Kent and Kal
Split
El.
yeah,
So
like splits into two, and so that
or
one's a good one.
and Platinum Kryptonite gives humans Kryptonian powers permanently, so that can make someone go against them.
I can see them introducing that.
That one's more.
That would be that would be a good introduction, and they're trying to and so you've got this, like, maybe team of 6 that know they can't necessarily go toe to toe with him, so they're trying to find a way to break him, while also not hurting themselves. That would be great. That would be great. There are different
Oh
ways
no, no,
to
no, no! So Red Kryptonite doesn't make him evil. Red Kryptonite depowers Superman completely.
Mhm.
So there you go. Someone made a red kryptonite bullet because he's been shot by a kryptonite bullet before.
I guess red kryptonite is
Anyways, there's various types of kryptonites that you can
yeah.
use to do the whole Super Metroid aspect where you're so overpowered and then an accident happens, you get shot by a kryptonite bullet, you lost your abilities, and it's about your adventure getting your abilities back.
Yep.
There we go. I'm down with that.
Let's continue. What else he announced?
Yeah. What else?
No, that's it for now.
Oh
You
well.
didn't talk about your guy.
Oh, you're right. The last thing we need to talk about the best for last, the cream of the crop. Mwah, the chef's kiss. We talking about the ultimate hero, the greatest hero in DC Universe. No one better than him. So good, in fact, he had to go back in time because he was a loser in the future. He has a little robot sidekick. His name is Booster Gold, ladies and gentlemen.
Is he making a movie or a show out of that?
I think it's a show. If I recall, it is. I think he's doing a TV show.
That's dope.
So that's bro. That's Booster motherfucking Gold, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, watch Henry Cavill. Go for it, man. Be Booster
Bro,
Gold.
he
Be
would
Booster
be a good Booster
Gold.
Gold. He would be
Be
a good
Booster
Booster
Gold,
Gold.
man. Do it. Just do it.
You might not be Superman no more, but that
You're
doesn't mean
better.
you can't be.
You're better. You're better. You're better than Superman if you're Booster Gold. Oh man, that would be sick. All right. Any final thoughts, guys?
I'm hoping this sets up for someone that I've for listen, I like Pierce Bronson, but I would like to see a Dr. Fate iteration at some point, you know.
What we
Uh
saw was great. Like his whole
oh, we saw it. Great. I mean, so someone did bring up, and I thought it was pretty funny. Like he had to take off his helmet after he did any action. They're like, yeah, you got to get that Pierce Bronson, like, I get the mugshot, baby.
no,
Just punch someone. Mm.
no, but here's the funny
Like,
thing. What bothered me is that he took it off so easily. I'm like, he has a hard time taking off the helmet because the guy,
Yeah,
because the spirit or the god within doesn't trust him to put it back on. So he always has to
yeah.
negotiate to take the helmet off. So the fact that he did it so much, I'm like, either the guy's sleeping or they have really good trust issues. I mean, no issues. They don't have no trust issues.
I don't know too much about Dr. Fate comics. What I do know of him though, and what I've read of him and like other comics where he was spiced in is yeah, he hardly ever is ever able to take the helmet off. Like that thing is like stuck on him. Because once you put the helmet on, like you're lost to yourself.
Yeah,
You are no longer you. You lose your life. You are now this entity. And so a lot of people regret putting on the helmet, which is why he makes it almost impossible for it to come off.
Which I'd like to see a spin on that because I think it was either Justice League or one of the DC animated movies where his daughter
Young Justice.
was a Young Justice where
Yeah.
once a year he could take it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like he only can take off his helmet for 1 hour. I think it's either for 1 hour or for 1 day. And she's like, just leave it off. He's like, I can't because if I anger him, then I'll never see you again.
Yeah,
like
that's the agreement. For 1 hour, he can take it off. That's it.
And it's
1
funny,
hour of the year.
Yeah, and it's funny because I mean, he does possess her at one point. Then he pleads with like, look, my magic is peak. My body is in peak condition. Like I'm a better host. And then when he puts it on, he turns like Dr. Fate. But it's cool because that one scene you see when he takes it off, he looks a lot older because he's still aging underneath the helmet.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that's honestly, I love Young Justice, and I love that spin on Young Justice because they make an agreement where she'll wear it for a certain time to give her dad rest.
Yeah.
And my thing about it too is I hope they put, because you brought up Dr. Bat, I hope this help brings Constantine, because I remember reading one of the comics where
Oh, it's Constantine.
no one's wearing a helmet, and someone needs to wear the helmet, and so he draws people in, like kids, adults, like old people, in to wear the helmet, and Constantine's trying to stop that, and he pretty much has his what's Constantine's buddy?
I
God,
can't
what's his
remember.
name?
But I just want to say, it's funny that you say that because in the TV series, you actually see Constantine's helmet on his desk, and the girl's like, "What is he?" Like, "Don't touch it,"
Yeah,
because he has it
I
in his
mean,
house.
yeah, I mean, Constantine went toe to toe with Doctor Fate and won. That's hilarious to me.
It's
Like,
fair. Well, so I want to see Dr. Fate, another one because Jacob brought up, and honestly, he's just an interesting character.
Chaz.
Firestorm.
yes, Firestorm, yes.
Yeah.
I would love
Oh,
to see it open up to an interesting Firestorm, and honestly, like I know there's different iterations of the pair, but honestly, the kid and the professor, I think would be really cool.
the
A
kid and the
good.
professor were the original,
Mhm.
and then it went from the the kid and another kid. Um, honestly, there isn't really much Firestorm comics, sadly. Like I've tried to get some and I can't find any. He's only spiced in other comics. Like the last comic I read of him is Future's End, and it's not a Firestorm comic, but it focuses on him quite a bit. And
That's
that's
crazy.
Would you say
yeah.
that Firestorm can make an appearance in one of these series? Like, which one do you think would make more sense for Firestorm to be in? Would it be with Superman, the Green Lanterns, or Booster Gold? Or do you think it
Booster
needs to be set up for
Gold.
something else?
I
I
can
think Booster
see
Gold is a kickoff for a lot of people
yeah.
getting a
I
you know
can see him being part of Booster Gold. Um I don't see him being part of Green Lantern. Superman, I can kind of
maybe.
I can kind of see it, but not fully. Um, honestly, Green Arrow, but there's not a Green Arrow announcement.
Green Arrow needs to take a break. I'm sorry. I don't want to
He
hear.
does.
I don't want to hear anything about Green Arrow or.
I mean, but I'm not talking about the Arrowverse.
Oh,
I'm not talking about the Arrows, even though that was so good up until like a
Season
certain
two,
point in it. I would say further than that. I'm gonna say further than
dude.
that.
After Slade Wilson, it was downhill from there.
I mean, it declined slowly, but I don't think it was a complete drop. I'll give it about like season four,
Hmm.
season five,
I thought, okay, Slade Wilson
season
was
four.
peak. Was peak.
See, it was peak, and then it
Yeah,
slowly
like
declined. I don't think it just crashed though.
actually, what if we finally get Deathstroke? I mean, we got it in Titans, yeah, but I would love to see a James Gunn Deathstroke.
That'd be dope.
I am sad. I know this. I mean, it's still part of the topic. I feel the reason Doom Patrol and Titans got canceled was because of this. They're just restarting everything, which
Yeah.
They are.
saddens me. But from what I've read, Doom Patrol supposedly is supposed to end well. I don't know so much about Titans.
But
I
then, so and last thing, guys, I hope at one point he wants continuity, and I understand this was a TV show first. What if we had Static Shock come in?
Yes.
dude,
Like,
okay,
I
like not like I'm not a like we don't talk politics here for the most part, but
Mhm.
if you're gonna have a black hero, it has to be Static Shock.
Yes.
It
or Black
has to
I'll
be.
take either iteration, but I would rather have his younger self.
I no, I would love Static Shock, dude. No, it crashed. Wait, I got kicked out. Ugh, let's get this back open.
Is
My thing crashed. So what'd you
But
say?
because you got political, that's why.
yeah, that's what
Obviously,
it's like. Ooh, see,
obviously.
that's what happened. You remember
YouTube's
that
all
time?
like YouTube's like, whoa, we can't be having this here.
No, but like seriously though, like Static Shock would be the perfect hero.
I
Cause
mean, Static Shock just needs to come back in general. Like
dude,
he's been gone too long.
a Static Shock game, bro. Oh my gosh. and the thing is, it's not a dark. He's not a dark hero. Like there's
God
not,
dang. Oh my gosh.
dude. Like
I
that.
think
And
it.
like,
I
and
think it'll
like,
play like Infamous,
like if there's
which was
like,
really good.
you
Which
know,
was really good.
if he was gonna have a hero that's meant for kids, I feel like it's Static Shock because he's a young kid, a young teenager, gets abilities. He still has. He's like, in a way, he's kind of like Spider Man in a sense. Like he still has real
Mhm.
life problems. He still has to go to school. You know, he has this, like he still lives with his family, so he's not like he can just zip out whenever he wants. And yeah, like he
Yeah.
has real life struggles. So, Static Shock, bro. But if he did that, Marvel's in
And then
deep dookie.
and then it opens up to him going to the future and meeting Batman Beyond in a cameo, and then boom, Batman Beyond season 1 starts that next year. I'm saying there's a lot of potential. Those are the 4 things that are on my mind, though. It's like I love what's coming out, but it's like, please let this do well so we can start exploring some of these people that deserve the spotlight, you know? But that's the main thing. So,
Yeah, no, I'm excited for that. So we'll see what happens. I mean, he already has a lot on his plate, right? So, we'll see how this phase goes, and then what's after that. I hope everything goes well. I hope my prayer to have James Gunn lead DC doesn't come to bite me in the booty, which is looking
Yeah.
like it's not, but we'll see. I mean, hey, I mean he does have a portfolio now within DC, and it looks good already.
Right.
But you know, it's a lot different just from being a director for one project to basically running a whole shit by yourself. I mean, he has his I forget the other guy's name, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah,
I mean,
no.
is
So
Marvel in trouble? The way it's looking, yes, but we don't know for
wait.
sure. But the way it's looking, yeah.
I mean, and just to wrap this up, I'm I'm gonna watch Ant-Man, but I can honestly say I'm not really excited about King the Conqueror. It's gonna be cool, but I don't. I mean, I have a buddy at my job, and he's like so hyped for it. And I'm like, but is he better than Thanos? Like, is that whole like what they did with Thanos and that build up? I think that's a one time thing. I don't think you could get that kind of hype and peakage again.
Mm-mm. Even still, I thought that King the Conqueror should have been an Avengers fight, you know, but it's a personal thought.
I don't. Mm, I don't know what route. Like I said, I haven't watched a lot. I do plan on watching them. I do plan on catching up.
Hey, you know what?
Kane or Khan the Conqueror.
Or Kong, yeah.
I I feel he is a good villain, but I don't think it should be focused on him, but focused on what happens around him.
Mm.
These
Yeah,
other dimensions should be the focus.
yeah. No, we'll see. But I will say one last thing. If Marvel wants some help and they want a guaranteed banger, bring back the X-Men. Just bring it back.
Yep.
Bring them back, and that'll
They want to
that
stop
that'll
that.
s- that'll solve a lot of your issues right there. Just bring back the X-Men. That's all I want to
Give us
say.
our Gamut movie that we've been
That
needing.
that's totally biased right there. It could be anything, but Jacob wants his Gambit
No,
movie.
no. We were promised a Gambit movie. We were given green screenshots and then it just went away.
It's fair.
Poor Channing Tatum, who looks a little older.
Right?
Now he's gonna be an older Gambit,
The later years.
where he's looking all rough. Like, what happened? Rogue broke up with me again.
Yeah.
Again.
But all right, guys, we'll catch you next time. Jacob, where can they find us?
Find us on TikTok at Dude Let's Chat, Instagram Dude Let's Chat, and Twitter Dude Let's Chat.
There you go, and you can catch us live. We aim for 7:30, sometimes 8 o'clock on Mondays through Friday. No, Wednesdays. Jacob streams. Oh yeah, Jacob streams now. So
Yeah.
he streams from 9:30 to what?
It's more about 10.
More about
I
10.
do late streams. Yeah, late
He's
streams.
streaming Fear, by the way. He's streaming Fear. So yeah.
Yes.
So I think we're good. All right. I hope you guys
Mhm.
enjoy the rest of your night. Oh, and one last thing. if you're watching the VOD, because it seems like you guys really prefer VODs over live streams, because that's where most of our numbers come from, are from VODs. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, ring the notification bell that we know when we go live, and we'll catch you guys next time. Later.
Peace.